Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Suburban Driving with Miranda. As you can see behind me is the actually really stunning Hyundai Sonata N-Line Performance. So it's got some beefed up horsepower. Let's take it for a drive and check it out. So here I am inside the 2021 Hyundai Sonata N. So basically what that means is Hyundai has their own racing line now. So kind of like BMW's M, Mercedes AMG, Hyundai now has N. Now the Veloster N came out a couple of years ago. That was a fantastic little car to drive. It had a manual transmission, it had a beefed up engine, it was much more powerful than the regular Veloster, even the Veloster Turbo. And it was so much fun to drive. So they took all that N knowledge and they stuffed it into their larger sedan, the Sonata. So basically what this has is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that produces 290 horsepower and 311 pound-foot of torque. Now this is one of the most powerful front-wheel drive vehicles I've ever driven. Now of course, because it's front-wheel drive, there is a bit of torque steer, but honestly, you shouldn't be leaving stops that fast anyways, so if you're controlled in your driving, it feels really good. I love the way this engine sounds. I love how responsive it is. It has an 8-speed automatic transmission, which is also something new and updated for Hyundai in this specific Sonata. It's a dual clutch transmission, which means it's kind of like Porsche's PDK, BMW's MDCT. You've got, you know, if you're in second gear, then third gear is already engaged and waiting. First gear is also kind of sitting there. So there's really no delay. It's already working for you to keep all the gears exactly where they need to be, no matter which direction you're going to go into. So there's no lag, there's no jerk, there's nothing. It's just this really nice, smooth transition, no matter if you're going up in gears or down. And that really improves the way this thing drives. Handling is really good. The suspension feels okay. It's not super sporty, but it's also not super like plush and floppy. So there's that level of comfort, you know, it's not losing that because it is a Sonata. This isn't the Veloster. The Elantra N also has the higher performing engine. It's actually more powerful than this thing, even though it's smaller. So that's more of the sporty car. And so is the Veloster, obviously. But this Sonata offers a decent, not just decent, a great amount of power for the car that it is. And it really handles well, feels solid. I like the steering. I love the steering wheel. Everything about this is just really, really nice in terms of drive. Didn't have to put premium gas in it. I averaged 8.5 liters per 100 kilometers this week, and I was doing almost 100% city suburban driving. I didn't go on the highway that much, and it just, I really like it. It's obviously on the higher end. So this 2.5 liter engine, there is a 2.5 in the non-N Sonata. This thing has about 99 more horsepower and I think 211 more pound-foot of torque. There's also a 1.6 liter turbo Sonata engine offered, and this one has 100-something plus more horsepower and 100-something plus more pound-foot of torque. So if it's power that you're looking for, but you still want that Sonata feel, size, look, this might be worth the investment. You know, it's not the cheapest in the Sonata lineup, and the price is going to be written here somewhere. But I think it's worth it for all of that extra that you're getting under the hood. And like I said, this thing actually sounds really nice. Like you turn it on, it has a nice little grumble to it. You know, it's not a V6, it's not a V8, it's not screaming at you, but it definitely has this purr that makes you think, oh, okay, this has got something a little bit more under the hood. And I like that about it. You know, I was pleasantly shocked the moment I got in. I wasn't expecting much. I thought, oh yeah, Sonata N-Line, it's gonna give me like 10 more horsepower and maybe it's gonna, you know, feel a little bit faster around the highway or whatever, shift a little bit more quickly. But from the moment I turned the car on and put it into drive by selecting the push button shift, I'm not even gonna go there. I was impressed with the vehicle and how it drove and how it sounded and how it felt. You have drive modes as well, so I can go from Sport to Sport Plus. Sport Plus just takes off traction control, and then Sport just kind of like tightens everything up. So my throttle becomes a little bit more responsive, even more responsive. So does my steering. I have nice big disc brakes on this vehicle, larger than the normal Sonata, obviously, and everything's just being tweaked and honed. And really the engineers in the Hyundai N department, you know, kudos to them. You know, they took the Veloster, which was the ideal vehicle to make into an N car. And then obviously the wheels got turning, and I was like, well, why don't we apply this to other vehicles in our lineup? And when you think of the Sonata, you don't think about a sporty vehicle. You think Sonata, you think kind of like, for lack of a better term, old man car. So it's something that's comfortable and plushy, and like, you know, you're driving along and you don't feel any bumps, and all the golf bags fit in the back, and it's not necessarily something that you're going to stick a big engine in and make into a car that you could potentially take to the track. So, but they did. and they have created this vehicle that can do both, because it is very comfortable and it is very roomy and it does have a large trunk. But if I did want to take this to a track and really push it, I could do that too. And I kind of really love that about this car. So inside the Sonata N, you're getting everything that you get in a new 2021 Sonata, plus a little extra. But the screen is the same, the center stack is the same, the push button shifter is the same, and so is this super cool 4-spoke steering wheel. I love this thing. You can see the shape here. Like, it's really cool. Of course, you get the N symbol down here. Fully digital gauge cluster, which my son loves. It's funny, but it looks real, but it's not. And I used to say that Hyundai had my most favorite HMI. So the head up for the display and all of this, that it was super user-friendly, the easiest to use, easiest to navigate. I had buttons, it made perfect sense. And then I met this one. It doesn't have the buttons like it used to on the side, like your kind of like home buttons. They're all touchscreen. And I know I said I liked it in the Cadillac, but this one just isn't the same. And then you've got 3 different sections here that you can work with, and you can swipe through, or you can go through the main menu. And it's laggy. It's not intuitive. I don't like the way it's set up. Of course, you can easily hook up Apple CarPlay, super simple, with a USB. Plus I have a charge pad down there. Plus I have another USB so I can charge another phone. So essentially you can have 3 phones charging at once if you'd like to, while having one hooked up to Apple CarPlay. Again, I guess I have to talk about this. So the shifter is the push button for park, reverse, drive, neutral, and this is found across the Sonata line as well. Decent size armrest here, not bad. 2 cup holders, the usual. What's really nice about this vehicle are these seats. So I've got these N badged seats that are heavily bolstered. They've got really nice like a suede feeling inserts, the contrast stitching with the red, which is also found across the dashboard and the doors. And they're very comfortable, and I can adjust them so I can squeeze the sides. The bolsters come in, lumbar support, obviously everything down on the side here, and everything's electronically adjustable. And the back is surprisingly large. It seems like it wouldn't be, because if you look at the shape of the car, it has that coupé silhouette, that very like raked headline thing top. So that's a great system in this vehicle. Maybe again, it's the shape, kind of domed, really nice quality of sound is brought into this space. And what's kind of, you can call it cool or distracting, the Sonata comes with its own Sound of Nature soundtrack. So in the system, you can pull up waves, the sound of rain, which just makes me want to pee, footsteps in the snow, just a little creepy, a fireplace, the living forest. There's a bunch of them. And I can only imagine that if you've had just the worst day in the world and you're stuck in traffic and your head's going to explode because you're so angry, and all the songs are making you mad, and you don't want to listen to people talk on the radio, but you don't want silence either, because then you're just going to hear the cars around you. You can put on those nature sounds and you can kind of zen out and hopefully not want to ram into somebody. And it's a cool feature, and it sounds great. So all that to say, the Bose system really puts you in that sound of nature. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're sitting in front of the fireplace. You feel like you're at the beach. You hear the seagulls screaming at you. Of course, it has all the active safety features as well. So I've got blind spot monitoring. I have front crash collision warning. I have cross traffic alert from the back with the backup camera. Also, one of the features that I quite like, which Subaru has as well, and I think they were one of the first ones along with Volvo, is that if the car in front of you leaves and you don't realize, let's say you're looking at the radio or you're fiddling with your gauge cluster here when you're stopped, and the car ahead of you goes, before the dude behind you can honk because you haven't moved yet, your car, your Sonata, will beep at you pleasantly and let you know, oh, by the way, the car in front of you is moved, you should probably go too. So I quite like that. Of course, everything here on the steering wheel, you have all of your cruise control buttons. You can fiddle with your volume and your channels as well. And the trunk is quite cool. And I will be fully honest here, I did not look in the manual, so I once again went in blind. I'm gonna look it up now that I'm talking to you guys. So I have a button down on the left here where I can pop the trunk open, no problem. If I want to open the trunk from the outside and the car is locked, as long as I have the key fob on me and I stand behind the trunk for 3 or 4 seconds, it'll beep, 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 and then the trunk will pop open. If I don't have the key fob on me, I haven't quite figured out how to open the trunk yet. So, for instance, you know, if I ask my son to put something in the trunk while I'm doing something up here in front, he doesn't have the key fob on him, or the car is unlocked. We pushed on all the letters, we checked the bottom where the license plate is, we pushed on the lights, I rubbed the Hyundai symbol, like did a dance, the whole thing, put my feet underneath to see if maybe there's a sensor, nothing. So I will look at the manual. There has to be another way to open the trunk manually from outside. It must be there. So you guys can comment and let me know the secrets of the Sonata trunk. But yeah, other than that, it's a really comfortable, great interior. I think it's a fantastic design. I love these end seats. And again, so much room in here. It's great. All right, let's take a moment to talk about how this thing looks. I had one word that came to mind the moment that I picked it up, and it was pointy. So there's a lot of lines on this thing, a lot of angles from the front bumper to the rear tail spoiler off the trunk to even the shoulder lines and the wheel wells. I mean, everything on this vehicle is angular. Now, it's not something I would normally like. I'm not a huge fan of angular cars. I feel like it kind of detracts from the shape of the vehicle, but in this case, they've done a really good job with it. The thing I don't really like, nor do I really get, are the daytime running LED lights that kind of go up the hood. The only thing I can think of is, dear God, if you get into an accident on that front corner, either corner, how much will it be to replace and how long will it take to get that replaced? It's beautiful. I just don't see the practicality in it should things go wrong. But, you know, I guess you could say that about any car, especially when it's more designy than it is practical and utilitarian. Anyways, back to the look of this vehicle. I love it in the red, the black accents, the blacked out front grille looks fantastic. The Sonata across the back trunk, again, like everything about this car is kind of eye-catching. And what I really like about it is that, you know, yeah, okay, it has the beefier front bumper and it's got the blacked out front grille, but if you look at the new Sonatas in general, like the N line isn't so far removed, just like the Veloster N. There's little subtle cues and differences, so you know it's something different, something special, but it's not so far removed. Again, there's a turbo, there's no hood scoop. You know, I don't have a huge wing off the back. I don't have these massive flared out wheel wells. It's just subtly sporty in a way that makes you turn your head and think, what is this vehicle and why do I think it's special? And makes you take a second look. And then you can spot the N-Line badge and be like, okay, now I know what this car is all about. But I think Hyundai's design language has gone so far away from what it used to be, and that's a good thing. It might ostracize a few buyers, kind of like Toyota with their new design language with their Camrys and their Corollas, You know, they've really taken a hit into left field. So has Hyundai, but I really think they've hit in the right direction, just like Toyota, and they're really going to get noticed on the road now, and they should, because this is a great car. All right, guys, well, that's been it for me in the Hyundai Sonata, and I really like this car. It is a super fun sedan to drive, and I mean, look at it. This thing is gorgeous, nose to tail. So if you have a chance to check it out, you really should. As always, you could hit me up at Miss Miranda L on Twitter or Instagram, Miranda Lightstone on Facebook.com, or drop a comment below. Hope to see you guys back next week. Take care.